got the shop reorganized a little bit so I can have this right wing now on top of the bench, as you see here. I'm working on the aileron brackets and getting them attached to the wing. Now these brackets, for the RV7 anyway, and I know there are other RVs that also have this type of bracket. There's a service bulletin that came with the kit, and it just includes these stiffeners and some extra angle and pieces like that, especially for this middle one, which I'll be working on later. This one has this reinforcement plate, and it's got a couple of angle brackets. It's actually got 4. It's got 2 that go on the back side and then 2 that actually help hold this bracket that sticks out. I'll get to that later. I'm currently working on this one. Obviously, I've got the parts made as per the service bulletin, and I've got it all clecoed together, and I'm doing the match drilling. One thing I want to point out is this bracket, this angle bracket here. Down here you can see that the spar has a radius to it down in this corner. So when this bracket comes down, you have to radius the back side of the angle bracket to fit this. If you don't, the bottom of the bracket right here, the bottom of this angle bracket will stick out from this backing plate down here at the bottom. So this back side, you have to angle, you have to radius this back side to give clearance for this radius that's in the spar. But other than that, it's just a very simple clecoing the aileron hinge to the bracket, having the bracket clecoed here to the spar, and then you can go ahead and match drill these holes here, which I have clecoed from the back side. So now that I have these holes done and clecoed, I can pull these out one at a time, match drill them, put these on this side sticking out so I have clear access to match drill these one at a time. And I'm going to use my long 12-inch drill bit, as you see here, to clear this as I go in this way so the drill chuck doesn't interfere. So that's what I'm going to do next, and then of course I'll do the deburring and all that as well after I get the holes drilled, and then we can start riveting. Here is the inboard bracket for the aileron. This is basically in the center of the wing, and you can see how I have it clecoed in place. You can see the different brackets that are involved. You've got the hinge, I guess you can call this a bracket here. You've got the short angle bracket here. You've got a long angle bracket here, and then on the inside of the wing, it's very difficult to see. There's this piece here, and then I can't even see when I'm filming this piece on the inside. It forms almost like a U-channel. It will make sense, as I always say, when you actually get into it, it will make a little bit more sense. But I just wanted to show that it's the service bulletin really beefs this area up quite a bit, and you want to make sure you get all the clecos in every hole just to make sure that everything is in fact in alignment. Sorry for the camera bumping. So again, now that this is all clecoed, I'm going to remove them one at a time. I'm going to use my 12-inch drill bit to come through here and drill these, and drill these. So as always, match drill, disassemble. If you haven't already, edge finish, deburr. There's some countersinking too you want to pay attention to really close in the service bulletin and on the van's instructions. You kind of have to use both of them. Some holes get countersunk with flush rivets because you don't want interference when the control surfaces are moving. So look very carefully and pay close attention to which ones get countersunk and on which side of which bracket the flat the flat, what, it's not the shop head, it's the other side, manufactured head, I guess. Anyway, look at the instructions, pay attention, make sure you get the countersinks in the right place and you get the rivet oriented in the correct direction. Alright, so here I have the hinges installed, or the hinge brackets, not really sure what to call them. I've got them installed on the right wing now. This is the middle one here. Obviously this is the end one here. This current configuration includes the service bulletin, which is just some extra reinforcement type brackets. Especially this one, you can't see it now because I've got the skin in the way, but there's some added brackets on the back side of the rear spar and different things. So these are installed with the included service bulletin upgrades. And now I am fitting the flat filler panel, which is this piece here. So as always, I've got stuff Clecoed together. I use a decent amount of Clecos just to make sure that everything is square and true. So I've got the skin on, so I can match drill this filler to the skin holes here. And again, just to make sure that everything stays in alignment, I've got the skins on and I've got everything Clecoed. I didn't Cleco this entire skin on the end because this filler panel stops at the hinge, but you can see that this outer skin overlaps quite a bit. So these holes here have to be match drilled through with the filler panel and the outer skin in place. So I just went ahead and Clecoed basically this end of the outside panel. This section over here I didn't bother Clecoing, but I do have a decent amount of Clecos in it here. And of course the inner panel here is Clecoed. So one more thing before I get too far into it. With these brackets and with the service bulletin, you want to pay really close attention to the rivet callouts. The brackets that attach to the hinge assembly, if you want to call it that, these types of angle brackets, those rivet callouts are in the service bulletin. I think that's right. Let me think about that for a minute. Is that correct? Shoot, I don't remember. But there are rivet callouts in the service bulletin, and then there are the original rivet callouts on the plans. So use the rivet callouts that are on the service bulletin, and then wherever you cannot find rivet callouts on the service bulletin, refer to the van's plans that came with the kit. But there are various lengths and there are various types, and there are certain locations that need to be countersunk, like this here. This is a countersunk rivet here. There are a couple countersunk rivets here. Same thing with the middle bracket. There's one lone countersunk rivet here. Did I say countersunk bracket? Anyway, you get the idea. There's some countersunk rivets in certain places. And again, there are a few here, and then I think there are a couple underneath. Oh yeah, back in here, there are a couple more. So again, pay real close attention to the rivet callouts in the service bulletin. Make sure you get the right rivets in the right location and you get them oriented correctly. And it can get a little confusing. Just take your time, look through it. So anyway, getting back to the filler panel. The filler panel is Clecoed in place. I got the skins on. I've got enough Clecos on it to make sure everything is pulled square and true. And I'm going to go ahead and match drill.